Well, I walked towards the old town hall with a group of my mates by my side. Well, to join up the Ulster division. Well, they knew I was young, but I lied. But arriving in Europe, well, it hit me the reality of what I would do. I would clamor all the trench ladder when the captain his whistle he blew. Well, tonight as I lie in my dugout, well, I'm cold and encased in the mud. Well, I long to be with you, my darling. Well, to hold you and to warm up my blood. We would walk hand in hand through old Belfast, through the streets that I love, Sandy Road. But I know that this will never happen, for tomorrow to the battle I'll go. Yes, remember I'll always will love you. Tell my mom, my dad just the same. Well, I'm afraid like the lads here beside me, London for us I will surely remain. Well, I'll fight and I'll die for old Ulster, for the England and the red, white and blue. Don't disturb me, lads, I am writing to my girl back in Belfast, so true. Well, she broke her wee heart when I left her. Well, my Ulster, I'll do this for you. So I bid you good night now, my darling, for it's dark and I can't seem to write. Yes, remember the Ulster division, for the Ulster will always be right. Yes, remember the Ulster division, oh, the Ulster will always be right.
Well, hello and welcome to another Restore UK Live. That's going out to the British Unionist People's Voice, that's on Facebook, also to the Restore channel on Facebook, and to the YouTube channel, which is Restore UK, and also going out to Twitter. And I'm just looking across the platforms there, and I have to say that there's people on all platforms watching this stream. So this evening we're here to talk about the lady. I have to get this right. The lady here, Marylou McDonald. I mean, some would call her Jerry Lou. Just here, you'll see. There she is beside our good friend here, Jerry and Michelle. And they're using the flag of the Irish state, would you believe? You know, the national flag of the Irish state as a symbol of IRA murder, as a symbol of child murder. And that's what Marylou is capable of. Goodness knows what will happen if Marylou should ever become leader of the government in the Republic of Ireland. Now, we're here to talk about how that it is that Marylou, this Marylou here, how that it is that she's diametrically opposed to her own stated position. And you're going to learn that as we go on. Well, I tell you why that we're doing this evening is that, you know, we have various clips here that we've gathered throughout the months and the years, and we keep a database of clips. And just the other evening, I was listening to something else, again looking for some material, and I just happened to come across Marylou saying something completely the opposite, being diametrically opposed to what her stated position previously was. And this we're going to actually show you, and we're going to show you so that we can show in a conclusive way that, well, Mary Lou, this Mary Lou here, is she actually swindling Republicans? Is she swindling Sinn Féin IRA? Is she the leader of Sinn Féin in the South? For reasons being that she has puppet masters which are above her, which really pull her strings and which tell her what to do. Now, that's a real question, and that's a question for the people that is on the live chat this evening. So look at the title just above me here. She's diametrically opposed to herself, Mary Lou McDonald, diametrically opposed to her own previously stated position. And the real question is Mary Lou really the leader of Sinn Féin? Or is there people in the shadows pulling the strings, creating the strategy, and telling Mary Lou what it is that she can say and when it is that she can say it? However, we believe that Mary Lou has a mind of her own, and we believe that, well, she thinks that she can swindle these people that are telling her what to do, and we believe that she can, she can take Irish Republicans to a place where they do not want to go. And as you go along in this stream, you'll begin to realize exactly what it is that we're aiming at here when we're talking in such a way. So I would just like to talk to the live chat. I have to say the numbers are going up handsomely from right across the platforms. And I would like to talk to the live chat, and I would like to actually ask, if you could tag people into the live chat on the Restore UK channel, that's on Facebook. If you could tag people into the live chat, that's on the British Unionist People's Voice, again on Facebook. If you're new to the channel, if you would like to give us a like, give us a love, give us a share. And if you're not new to the channel, well, also give us a like, give us a love, and give us a share, which helps actually propagate what it is that we're doing this evening. And again, I would like to ask each and every one of you to tag people into the live chat. Now, again, I see a man popping up here. And again, I'm going to ask you, Simon, if you would like to maybe come on, after about a half hour or whatever, I would be very, very happy to send you a link. And if you could just confirm that or watch on, because you're going to see something which is, I guess, funny, but sinister. Whenever I say, is Mary Lou McDonald diametrically opposed to herself? And does she really have people in the background, puppet masters, telling her what to do and when she can do it? So please tag people into the live chat, and we will get on doing with exactly what we're here to do. So what we're going to do this evening is that we're going to start off by playing a little clip. Now, this little clip, for people that wouldn't have seen it, comes from our archives. And this is Mary Lou McDonald at a hunger striker rally pre-COVID back in probably 2018, I think, from my recollection. And this is Mary Lou McDonald actually stating very clearly that she will not let the likes of Francis Hughes be criminalised. Now, let me explain something to you. She will not let Francis Hughes be criminalised. Francis Hughes is, in his resume, he is responsible for putting a bomb under a car, is what we believe, and in that car was a child, and that bomb went off, and that bomb actually decapitated that child. Now, that is only one of many things that Francis Hughes was actually involved in. And yet Mary Lou McDonald, in this little video clip, she states very specifically and clearly that she will not let Francis Hughes be criminalised. criminalised is maybe too good of a thing for the likes of Francis Hughes if he was still around today. Let's play the clip and let's come back and let's start the ball rolling with reference exposing and showing who that it is that Marylou MacDonald actually is.
Today, Irish Republicans commemorate the sacrifice and celebrate the lives of our hunger strikers. The 1981 hunger strike was a pivotal moment in Irish history, which saw Republican prisoners thwart British government efforts to criminalise the struggle for a united Ireland. And here in Ireland, Republicans remember with deep pride the sacrifice and the heroism of those who died in the H-blocks. Francis Hughes, Raymond McCreesh, Thomas McElwee. We will not allow them to be criminalised ever. 10 who took a stand, 10 who could not be broken, 10 lives cut short, 10 grieving families. Ten figures who will never be forgotten.
Okay, so you heard Marylou saying there that she will not let the likes of Thomas McElwee and Francis Hughes be criminalised. Now, let me just explain something. They were part of a gang, and they were part of a gang that was responsible for many, many things in Northern Ireland. Some of the most gruesome murders that Northern Ireland has actually ever seen. And yet Marylou, well, she wants to stick by these people, and she wants to insist and ensure that these people could never be criminalised, is exactly what Marylou would have said. Now, I'm going to move on to a little video clip here. And this video clip would be, I guess, the pinnacle of what it is that we're here to talk about this evening. Now, I'm going to ask people to really listen to Marylou's words as she would say them. And what we'll do is that once we play it, we'll do what we normally do. We'll let it play right through. It's only a clip of probably just under a minute and a half or whatever, thereabouts. And then we'll come back and we'll pop it up onto the screen and we'll go through it and we'll dissect it and we'll point out a few of those words in a way, I guess in the way that I would have received the words as I was putting this video clip together. So tune in and listen to Marylou as she would explain something that, well, in a way that she actually comes across as if she's diametrically opposed to herself.
Whatever George Hamilton's view is on that matter, I want to tell you that I am the leader of Sinn Féin.
These people that George Hamilton says are still out there, still wielding influence. What's your relationship with them?
I have no relationship with the IRA. I've never been a member of the IRA. I'm a Sinn Féin person, and I am the leader of Sinn Féin.
And nobody dictates the pace to me.
And nobody dictates the pace to me.
We're here, we're broken-hearted, saying a farewell to our leader.
Saying a farewell to our leader.
Saying a farewell to our leader, a Republican icon, a Republican hero, a man of action, a great Belfast Republican, a great Irish Republican, Bobby Story.
Saying a farewell to our leader.
And nobody dictates the pace to me.
Sorry about that. There you'll have heard Marylou MacDonald actually saying, well, she's in Sinn Féin, that she's nothing to do with the IRA. And in fact, let's just play it. Let's play it again, and let's really break it down as we go so that we can point out what it is that we want to point out. Onto the screen it comes.
Whatever George Hamilton's view is on that matter, I want to tell you that I am the leader of Sinn Féin. No.
So she wants to be specifically clear that whatever the Chief Constable's views are, she is the leader of Sinn Féin. Now you'll see the title here on the little clip. Who's pulling Marylou's strings? Who's really the leader is a real question. Who's really the leader of IRA Sinn Féin? Now Marylou here says that she's the leader.
People that George Hamilton says are still out there, still wielding influence. What's your relationship with them?
I have no relationship with the IRA.
So again, you'll have heard that she's no relationship with the IRA. Now, this was an assessment after the Kevin McGuigan murder in the Short Strand area of Belfast in 2015, late 2015. And this was a murder that Bobby Storey was arrested for, along with others. And the Chief Constable, he came out onto the airwaves around that time, 2015, and he said that, well, the IRA Army Council directed Sinn Féin during the Kevin McGuigan murder. And then there's further assessments from there on in, and we'll pop them up onto the screen and show you very shortly that the IRA Army Council still exists. And the IRA Army Council, well, let's just pop them up so that there's no label involved, because we know what these people are like if you say one wrong word. But let's look for something here, and we'll look for the various assessments as we would see them. Now, here we go. Let's pop this one up. The Chief Constable of the Police Service of Northern Ireland has said the provisional IRA still exists. George Hamilton added that some of its members were involved in the murder of ex-IRA man Kevin McGuigan Sr. last week. Now, that's directly from the Chief Constable of Northern Ireland. And again, this keeps us right here at Restore, because we know that the lawfare that these people are now wanting to use, are capable of using, and are using on a daily basis is the truth of the matter. So there you go. There was an assessment from the PSNI. So let's just play on with this little clip, and let's again try to understand and to dissect how it is that Marylou MacDonald is diametrically opposed to herself. You know, if you're going to be a liar, let's just say it this way. If you're going to be a liar, you have to be a good liar. You have to remember what it is that you said at various intervals. So let's play on.
I've never been a member of the IRA. I'm a Sinn Féin person, and I am the leader of Sinn Féin.
And nobody dictates the pace to me.
And nobody dictates the pace to me.
Nobody dictates the pace to me was myself just having a little bit of fun, because that's exactly what she said to that guy. And nobody dictates the pace to me is what she said. Now, this is a picture of Bobby Storey's coffin getting into the hearse. Here we go. This is a picture of Bobby Storey's coffin. Now, listen very, very carefully. Do you remember what she said? She said that I am the leader of Sinn Féin. I'm the leader of Sinn Féin. That's what she said. I am the leader of Sinn Féin. Listen to what she says here.
We're here, we're broken-hearted, saying a farewell to our leader.
So we're broken-hearted. We're here. We're saying farewell to our leader. And you'll see just behind me here, Marylou Michelle O'Neill and Jerry Adams here carrying a coffin with an Irish state flag. Symbolism of murder, symbolism of child murder, symbolism of terrorism, symbolism of holding Northern Ireland to ransom for all of my life. Some 54 years in my lifetime and before that. But that Irish state flag Who wants to be part of a new Ireland in where that these people have power, hold power? So she's here to do what? When she was talking about the Bobby Story funeral, she says that she's here. And again, let's just be sure about what she said. Let's just take this back again. Here we go. We'll play it again.
Nobody dictates the pace to me.
We're here, we're broken-hearted, saying a farewell to our leader.
Saying a farewell to our leader.
Saying a farewell to our leader, a Republican icon, a Republican hero, a man of action, a great Belfast Republican, a great Irish Republican, Bobby Story.
So, hang on a wee minute. The IRA doesn't exist. Marylou, according to what she said at the start of this little clip, that she says that she was the leader. She says, and we'll go back in a wee second and we'll just make sure we're getting the facts right. But she says that she was the leader and nobody dictates the pace to me. And now she's saying at Bobby Story's funeral that we're here to celebrate the life of our leader. What was Bobby Story the leader of? Was Bobby Story the leader of Sinn Féin? Well, we know that that's not true because we can go back and we can see that Bobby Story did hold a high-ranking position within Sinn Féin, but he actually gave it up. He gave it up, and I think he gave it up around the time when he was accused of the murder of Kevin McGuigan, from my recollection. Now, don't hold me to that, but we could. I know that he did give it up. That's the truth. So what was Bobby Story the leader of? And what is it that Marylou McDonald is involved in when she calls Bobby Story her leader? Is Marylou McDonald diametrically opposed to her own stated position when she says that she's the leader of Sinn Féin? Whenever that she talks about her leader here, Bobby Story. So let's just play this right through. We'll want to just slightly go back and listen to what she said to that guy again, just for clarification, and then we'll move on. But let's play this till we finish.
A farewell to our leader.
And nobody dictates the pace to me.
So let's just wrap that back to the very, very start. I just want to hear just one more time what she said to the interviewer on BBC Hard Talk, and credit the BBC for this short video clip.
Secondly, whatever George Hamilton's view is on that matter, I want to tell you that I am the leader of Sinn Féin.
These people that George Hamilton says are still out there, still wielding influence. What's your relationship with them?
I have no relationship with the IRA.
Right, let's just take that from our screen and we'll hold it in reserve for later. So there we go. Really and truly, that is something that we came across where it is that this lady, she said that she's the leader of Sinn Féin. And then she goes on to say that whenever she was at the Bobby Story funeral, she said that we were here to celebrate the life of our leader, yeah. But yet she's the leader. Now, I'm going to say something, people. I'm going to make a claim here. I'm going to put myself right out here, and I'm going to say that Marylou McDonald is the leader of nothing. Marylou McDonald is a front woman. Marylou McDonald is the face, the facade, the fabric of the fabrication of something that is changed when it really hasn't changed. Whenever the Chief Constable's assessment would say that the IRA are still around, they're still pulling their strings, and they're still dictating to Marylou McDonald, to Michelle O'Neill over this way, and they're still dictating to these people, whilst that those people use the flag of the Irish state as symbolism of murder, of terrorism, and of, well, holding Northern Ireland to ransom all of my life. Now, you really, you've got to look at this and you've got to understand that these people are they swindling their voters? You know, they've sucked in a base of voters who know nothing about the past, that know nothing about the child murder, that know nothing about the likes of baby Adam Jack or Alan Jack in Abercorn Square in Strabane. That was a child of 5 months old whose mother was asked to move her pram because there was an IRA bomb that was planted. The bomb went off. The bomb shard that baby, really cutting that baby to smithereens with shards of glass. But yet Marylou McDonald won't let those type of people be criminalised. That's what she said. But then again, who's pulling her strings whenever that she says that she won't let them be criminalised? So what we're going to do now is that we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to another little clip. And let me just say this before that we move on. But every time that you see this thing, and I make no apologies for calling that a thing, every time that you see this thing walking around in Northern Ireland as if that she owns the place, think this, that her and her puppet masters should have no place in any government. Any government. Let's go to another little clip, and let's just play this clip again through. And this is from the same interview. And I thought that you know, and just listen to how that it is that she is, how much, I'm trying to find a word here, how confident that she is whenever that she's being, I'm going to say, dictating the terms in terms of that, well, I think that what she's really saying is, I have to refrain from saying what I want to say here. I'll just play it and then we'll go back and we'll give it a little bit of commentary as we normally do. So let's listen to another little clip of Marylou McDonald.
Thinking it's premised on a very ugly agenda of exclusion, of anti-immigrant sentiment, of abusing and taking advantage of people's understandable insecurities and frustrations with the European project. I have to tell you, some of which I share. But the Brexit issue, let me tell you this, and this is the bottom line on this. We will not be, this country, Ireland, will not be the collateral damage in the Tory Brexit. End of story. So we have commitments, and we will hold people to these commitments, that there will be no hardening of the border on our island, that there will be no damage to the Good Friday Agreement, so painfully worked to and established, and that citizens in the north will not be robbed.
But the government
of
is
their
quite
rights.
clear. Well, I shouldn't say it's quite clear, but elements within the government appear to be absolutely sure that whatever the final deal in terms of custom arrangements and the economic arrangements between the United Kingdom and the European Union, they're quite sure that technical responses can be found to ensure that there needn't be customs posts and guard posts and all of that stuff. They say it's possible with modern technology to avoid all of that. So why are you making such a constant and such a big fuss about it?
Well, can I just say, and with the greatest of respect to the British government, they are bluffing, and they have presented non-solutions based on technological Alice in Wonderland fantasyland.
So I'm just stopping there. I remember this would have been a few years ago, 4 years ago, in this little interview. And remember the difference between what a difference 4 years makes whenever Marylou would have said that she's the leader. And then she says that she's here to celebrate the life of her leader. You know, make up your mind, Marylou, is what I'm going to say. And now what she's saying is that she's talking about Alice in Wonderland fantasy in terms of technological solutions to run goods, customs and regulatory checks through a border. I just listen to how stupid, how absolutely bunkers stupid Mary Doll actually is whenever that she says, whenever she says that this is fantasy. This is fantasy. Just last week, the week before, they're all talking about, well, they're talking about the protocol. They're talking about the checks on goods coming to Northern Ireland, and the EU are the people that are saying that, well, those checks could be lessened. Those checks could be drastically reduced. And the reason why they can, because of technological solutions. They would actually check the goods and provide information in real time. Now, I'm not in agreement with that real time EU and customs and regulatory checks in Northern Ireland, between Northern Ireland, England, Scotland and Wales. No unionists could ever accept that. Well, bar the ones that want to roll over. But listen to what Marylou McDonald is saying. How stupid is this woman? How stupid is she to say, well, that this is Alice in Wonderland fantasy? Has she not got a brain? Does she not know what goes on right around the world? Does she not know that VAT is checked in that way? Does she not realize that there are solutions just like that? But you see, this is what you heard of those anti-Brexiteers, that there couldn't be that type of thing, that this was unicorn. This is what Farage would have said from the Alliance Party, that this is unicorn politics. This is what Naomi Long would have said. This is what Marylou would have maybe copied, perhaps, and spouted in this interview 4 years ago, but spouted in such a way that she's talking to the BBC channel, Hard Talk, and she's saying such a thing, such a stupid thing in front of, well, a lot of people. And then it comes to bite her on the backside, just like that she's the leader, and then she was there to celebrate the life of her leader, Bobby Story. That was the head of the IRA Army Council at the time, by the way. And now what she's talking about here, so again, let's just harbour on that for a moment, is that if Bobby Story was the head of the IRA Army Council and Marylou McDonald was there to celebrate the life of her leader, well, what was she involved in? What organisation was she in? Who are the people that pulls Marylou's strings? And then we'll move on to her bonkers statement about technological solutions. The borders don't actually exist. It is Alice in Wonderland type politics. This is what she said. And she's the leader. With leaders like that,
fuss about it.
Well, can I just say, and with the greatest of respect to the British government, they are bluffing, and they have presented non-solutions based on technological Alice in Wonderland fantasyland, each of their proposals have been comprehensively discredited and disregarded quite correctly by the European negotiators. There's no question.
So they've been discredited, these technological solutions, and they've been, they have been rejected by the EU negotiators quite correctly in Marylou's fantasy land mind. But of course, now that what Marylou has said 4 years ago, it's now coming back to bite her, because the EU are actually proposing these type of solutions. You know, is she the type of person that goes with the flow? Is she one that walks in lockstep with the lockstep language from those that she wants to, I'm going to say, impress her EU masters? Is Marylou really a career-minded politician that'll say anything or do anything in order to, well, keep herself in power? Is she saying the right things whenever that she says that she will not let Francis Hughes be criminalised and Thomas McElwee, not Clifford, Clifford's the man that comes here, but she won't let them be criminalised? You know, is she saying the right things, playing to the gallery, playing to the Republican movement, when in fact she is an absolute charlatan that has aligned herself with the EU dictatorial Ponzi scheme, and well, in a way that she is in contravention, complete contravention to the proclamation, which is the cornerstone of the Irish state, in where that when it says that it talks about respecting the rights of the Irish people to be sovereign, the indefeasible right of the Irish people to be sovereign and have ownership of the land. And what's happening now? When Ireland is being overrun with uncontrolled, uncontrollable, unquantifiable, unidentifiable immigration. And Marylou actually supports that. And I'm going to show you how Marylou supports the overburdening of the services, the houses, the schools, the hospitals, causing problems for people getting medical treatment, and why. All so that Marylou can get a handsome paycheck, all so that Marylou can keep herself in power. And this woman, as I've shown, is capable of saying anything in order to hold and maintain that power. And I hope that there's Republicans listening, because if there's not, we're going to cut some of this up and we're going to send it your way so that you understand who that your pretend leader is. How that it is that she, she says one thing and changes her mind to the complete opposite of what it is that she said that she was, or that she believes. Technological solutions are Alice in Wonderland. What type of 5-year-old would say that? Never mind, a seasoned politician. So let's play on with Marylou.
Question of custom posts or paraphernalia on the island of Ireland, but it's not just about that. It's about divergence in terms of regulation. It's about differing standards across everything. You name it. You name it in every facet of our lives. It's about.
So again, I have to stop there. Now, I'm going to say that I've got to hand it to her for how that it is that she's fighting the corner here. She's really stating very, very clearly. And let me make another claim here. Let me make a real claim that would probably get some people in trouble. And I'm happy to say this because I can actually stand by the words that I'm about to say. But is Marylou using her words, her language in such a way that is threatening, that has implications to those words? And let me just reverse back and listen very, very carefully to what she just said. And let's play this again.
Non-solutions based on technological Alice in Wonderland fantasyland, each in which each of their proposals have been comprehensively discredited and disregarded quite correctly by the European negotiators. There's no question of custom posts or paraphernalia on the island of Ireland, but it's not.
So there's no questions of customs posts or paraphernalia on the island of Ireland. And look at the screwed up face as she says that. Now, let's play on for a second. Listen very carefully.
Just about that. It's about divergence in terms of regulation. It's about differing standards across everything. You name it. You name it in every facet of our lives.
But the United Kingdom had every right to vote for Brexit.
So she says it's not about customs posts, it's about divergence, in other words. So Marylou is saying, this is exactly what she's saying, and this man's just about to say it and put her up on it. She's saying that, that 17.4 plus million people voted to leave the EU dictatorial Ponzi scheme. And the reason why that we voted to leave the EU dictatorial Ponzi scheme, and I'm just getting the video right at the right moment there, but the reason why that we voted to leave was because of the uncontrolled, uncontrollable, unquantifiable, unidentifiable immigration, which is overburdening our services to the point whereby that our hospitals are bursting at the seams. The housing, if anybody wants to rent a house, they're not going to get one. There's homeless on our streets. Why can't we look after our own? Why do we have to continue to overburden the system here, right around the United Kingdom and in Ireland? By the way, if you're Irish, no doubt your land is even worse than ours as a result of charlatans like this here. And yet she says, there's 17.4 plus million people voted in a Brexit referendum to leave the EU dictatorial Ponzi scheme. That was democracy. David Cameron defined that referendum in where that he said that it will be one vote, and what the people decide, that's exactly what will be implemented. Well, that's of course until Brexiteers won. And how dare this woman who hasn't the brain from a foreign state, how dare she dictate the terms in terms of that, there not be any divergence or anything from goods or services here in Northern Ireland? Hang on a wee minute. Didn't we vote to leave the European Union? Didn't we vote to take back control? Didn't we vote to chart our own way in this world? Now, she's saying this in a very, very threatening way. She's talking to people right across the United Kingdom through this BBC Hard Talk, and she's talking, as I say, in a very, very threatening way. Now, just listen to the interviewer as he asks her. Let's play on. Let's understand what she's talking about.
For our lives.
But the United Kingdom had every right to vote for Brexit, and Northern Ireland is a part of the United Kingdom. So you are going to have to live with the reality of Brexit.
Well, I'm sorry to disabuse you of that notion. Brexit is, with all due respect to you, on the far side of the pond, is your creation, it's your baby, and it's your problem. It's not going to be ours.
So Brexit is your baby. It's your problem. It's not going to be ours. Now, I want to play a little clip here, and this is just for the record. And again, I'm going to take people on a journey here. I'm going to show some of the language that was being used 4 years ago, and why that it is that our weak-willed Conservative politicians, why that it is that they haven't actually given us the Brexit that we deserve. Remember, in Northern Ireland, we are separated from England, Scotland and Wales. We have a border in the North Channel. We are second-class citizens. We weren't afforded the same democracy as people in England, Scotland and Wales, and all because people like Marylou here and her friends carrying or using this Irish state flag as a flag of symbolism for terrorism and murder, child murder. Some of the most vile murder that the world has ever seen. These people, well, they imply actually threats. Now, let's just play a little video clip. And I want to show people the real reason why that it is that I guess that the Conservatives would have taken cold feet over the entire Brexit process. Now, in this little video clip, it starts off, I think, with a man called Donny Morrison. It's closely associated with the IRA Sinn Féin conglomerate. A good friend of Gerry Adams from back in the day. Now listen to how these people frame what will happen should there be checks on goods between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic, where the checks actually should be on the EU frontier, by the way. So let's just hear what it is that these people, how that it was that these people actually threatened the Conservatives. And as a result, the people in Northern Ireland are left separated from people in England, Scotland and Wales.
What that border is going to look like?
It would involve customs posts, it would involve people in uniform, and it may involve the need, for example, for cameras, physical infrastructure, possibly police presence or an army presence to back it up. The problem with that in the context of Irish politics and history is those things become targets.
Exactly.
If they attempt to put a recognisable border on the island of Ireland, I guarantee, in fact I know, that arrangements are already being made. There'll be violence again.
Now, checks on the border would, I think, allow some people who are a small minority but who still want to carry on violence, would allow them the opportunity to attack border posts or border guards.
The UK government says that it won't put up a border even if there isn't a deal. So the EU will insist on a border.
We have to make sure that the interests of the European Union and of the internal market will be preserved.
It'll be a hard border. They will put up checkpoints. They will eventually have to put police to protect customs officers. The police will need the protection of the British Army, and we're back to square one.
It would be my judgment that if there was a hard Brexit and a border with physical structure, I would be very sure that the dissidents would be violently against it.
Even violence could return if that border is put into place in some way.
There is a fear, and I'd have to say that fear has grown more and more over the last few years. I mean, we know there's dissident activity. We know they've been recruiting.
All of us built the Good Friday Agreement and a peace process that's now very robust. But Brexit threatens to sunder all of that.
We do not want a guarded border.
Keep history in mind.
There is still women and men that are willing and capable of carrying out active armed resistance against the British state.
We have the dissidents on our group who feed off these spectaculars, and there is no doubt that they will attack any type of installation along that border.
In fact, I know that arrangements are already being made. There'll be violence again.
Well, there you go. You just heard it for yourself. I mean, all of those implied threats that, well, in fact, I know that there will be violence. Again, you know, arrangements has already been made. And again, you heard Marylou, you heard Leo Varadkar, you heard the whole conglomerate. And Leo Varadkar was running around Europe with bombed out border posts saying we don't want to go back to the days where that would occur. And as a result, well, you see the repercussions. The repercussions are that they are being, well, they're being appeased. So they are. That's the way that it goes. So look, again, I'm just going to look. I see that somebody's spamming us here with some nonsense. So we're looking. Just I was blocking a user there. Anyway, so moving on. So that's what we're up against here in Northern Ireland. We're up against people who would use terrorism, and terrorism doesn't have to be physical. Terrorism could be well, psychological. Terrorism could be cultural. Terrorism could be, well, economical. And these people, they use all forms of terrorism. It's all forms of political terrorism for their own ends. And I'm going to say that, well, you know, once a player, let's just say, always a player. And I believe, and we're going to cut this up, is that I believe that Marylou is actually playing the entire Sinn Féin Republican movement by way of telling them what they want to hear, and in a way that all she's doing is looking after herself and catering for herself. And in the meantime, well, Ireland is unrecognizable as a result of the cultural change that has happened, and as a result of the impact of the uncontrolled, uncontrollable, unidentifiable, unquantifiable immigration that is filling the country. Now, we need to be looking at this in a way that we try to understand that Northern Ireland, well, we don't want to end up the same as a result of what it is that these people want to do on their own people. There's going to come a day, and Republicans are known for this, there's going to come a day these people will turn on themselves. That's a guarantee. That is an absolute guarantee. They will turn on themselves. As in the days of, let's just say, Michael Collins. Well, what happened to him? This is how things progress in a progressive way, given that they're progressives, that is. So we're going to now go back to another little video clip. And this is just the third little video clip in that short succession of that interview from the Hard Talk team at BBC. And again, credit to the BBC for, we've taken the small clips here and we're taking them for the purpose of, and this is permitted, we're taking them for the purpose of criticizing what it is that is in these interviews. So here we go again, and we're going to pop it up here and we're going to go for it. And again, Simon, I'm saying there, if you would like to come on for, you know, the last half hour, I would be great to have you. So it would, so just indicate if that's okay for you, put it up on the live chat there. And yeah, I would be, because we have a couple of good clips that I think that you would want to discuss here, Simon, and give your opinion on. So we're going to pop up again the third clip in this little, let's just say this trilogy. Good man, Simon. I'll send you the link very, very shortly. As I play, I'm going to play this little clip. We're going to dissect it, and then we're going to I'll play a little solid clip whereby then I'll get across and send you that link.
Mind you that the British government is party to an internationally binding treaty called the Good Friday Agreement. And at the core of that is the concept of consent. And what the agreement says is that the people of the north of Ireland must consent to any change in the constitutional status of the north of Ireland. And of course, when the agreement was signed, that meant the union between Britain and the north.
So, oh dear, I didn't realize I had no sound there. I've just looked there. So let me explain something. Look, again, I'll go for it again. Please accept my apologies. Is that Marylou is trying to stretch what it is that constitutional change actually means. She's talking about constitutional change in terms of the Belfast Good Friday Agreement, in where that there couldn't be constitutional change in Northern Ireland until the greater number of people would actually vote in a referendum for that constitutional change. And also there had to be a vote in Ireland. Should there be a vote for a united Ireland? Well, there had to be a vote in Ireland for the people in Ireland actually to accept us. Now listen to how Marylou actually stretches the definition of what constitutional change means as contained, as written from within the Belfast Agreement. Let me explain something. You see, the United Kingdom, they voted, 17.4 plus million people voted to leave the EU. And, well, it doesn't change the United Kingdom if all of the people of the United Kingdom leave the EU. It doesn't change it. However, Marylou is trying to say that whenever that we voted for the Belfast Agreement, we were part of the EU. So she's somehow trying to say, she's trying to place the EU into the equation when it says nothing in the Belfast Agreement about the EU. It talks about that people can vote to be part of an Irish Republic or part of a United Kingdom. Nothing to do with the EU. I just listen to how that she tries to stretch things in a fanciful way, and in a way which is absolutely and utterly bonkers. And a child could see this. So here we go.
But I think that you can fairly and feasibly argue that the proposal to coerce the north of Ireland out of the European Union, despite the democratically expressed wishes and views of the people, actually flies in the face of the consent principle. And I have to tell you, in any
sounds to me
event,
like a threat.
And nobody dictates the pace to me. And nobody dictates the pace to me.
We're here, we're broken-hearted, saying a farewell to our leader.
Saying a farewell to our leader.
A great Irish Republican, Bobby Story.
And nobody dictates the pace to me. If you listen to the government here in Dublin, they are similarly taking a very firm position as is Michel Barnier and his team of negotiators, to protect the precious thing, the very precious thing that we have developed here in Ireland 20 years ago.
So there you go. Just thought you would let you have a wee look at Marylou and some of Marylou's fanciful ideas, and how that it is that Marylou is actually diametrically opposed to herself whenever she says that she's the leader, and then she says that she's here to celebrate the life of her leader, which was the leader of the IRA Army Council at the time, which begs the question to be answered when she said that she was nothing to do with the IRA. Well, one wonders, is Marylou part of that very same organization? And that's a real question. That's a question. And I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the showing of the bunker's way in which this woman actually talks about everything. What you say, technological solutions are Alice in Wonderland. And now that it comes that her very precious EU, well, they're asking for the very, very same solutions which she would have written off and called fanciful and Alice in Wonderland type solutions. So here's what I'm going to do, people. I'm going to play something here. And right, here's how to do it. This is the best way to do it. Simon, I'm going to send you the link now. And we're coming back just after this little song. And this is a song which was re-recorded by the very man that's coming on this screen in a second. My good friend Simon Evans, and he recorded a song called Broken Land. And whenever you see people like Marylou MacDonald here and Michelle O'Neill and Jerry Adams and the Irish state flag and the terrorists and everything else, well, you begin to realise that it is a broken land here in Northern Ireland. It's even more of a broken land in the Southern Ireland, and well, right across the Western world. We have charlatans like this who are globalists by their very nature and who are swindling the people that they actually claim to represent, the people that they claim to serve and protect. So I'm going to play this little song. Simon, I'm asking you to watch this too, because I cut your little video and I placed some of our own stuff in it to suit the Northern Ireland market. So playing is with a song here, recorded. The singer is coming on our screen in a few moments, and I think that you're going to enjoy a chat with the Reverend Simon Sideways. So here we go, Broken Land, sung and re-recorded by Simon. Simon put this video together. I added some stuff to it, and I hope that you enjoy. It's all his work, and well, I've claimed some of it.
I looked outside. What did I see? A little bird. He looked at me. I lured him close. With a piece of bread. And then I smashed. His little head. The moral of the story is. You want some head. You need some bread. Right turn. Huh. I looked outside, what did I see? What did I see? A little bird, he looked at me, I lured him close, with a piece of bread, and then I smashed, his little head.
So there you go. There we're back again, just after that little song there from Simon. And Simon's on our screen here, just waiting to come on. But what I thought I would do before that we bring Simon on would be to really have an appeal. And the appeal is this. We are due here at Restore UK on the Supreme Court just in, let me just say, in 2 weeks' time. In fact, 2 weeks this day's time, Supreme Court in London, we are fighting against the Northern Ireland Protocol. We are fighting against the illegal implementation of this protocol, which separates us from the United Kingdom. And we're going to ask again, and I know that there's lots of people that have put some money in the coffers, to take a small team from Restore UK over and across to fight that protocol. Well, if you can pop a few pound into our PayPal, that's on the British Unionist People's Voice, also on the Restore UK platform, that's on the YouTube channel, and in the live chat at Restore UK. And if you can help our work, please feel free to pop a few pounds into that PayPal link, and it will be going to great use. Because let's face it, we are the last line of defence against this constitutional changing, EU-inspired protocol which seeks to break up the entire United Kingdom. We are the front line in the war against the EU, trying to have a somewhat Brexit for the entire United Kingdom, not just the portion of it is. That's how that it is. So if you can help, please do. So introducing Simon Sideways, the Reverend Simon Sideways, onto the screen alongside me here. And Simon, thanks very much for coming along, and I'm loving what you have there in the background.
And the red also for the Red Hound of Ulster. I thought I'd try that one on the walls as well. So there you go.
Look here, look, you see, that's what a professional studio actually looks at.
It's not about that. God.
So let me explain, people. And again, myself and Simon goes way back to the start of Brexit, all the rallies and everything else. And, I have to say that Simon is probably the man that is responsible for my video editing capabilities whenever he was good enough to show me how to do it way back, as far as I'm going to say probably 2017 or whatever, Simon. It would have been back as far as, and well, I know now that I'm better than you. Well,
yeah, I'm still using the phone, right? But tomorrow is training day. We're gonna start with Da Vinci, so.
Good stuff. Well, Simon, just a quick question for you. But what did you think of Marylou McDonald there, as she is diametrically opposed to yourself and what it was that she was saying, and now that what it is that she is saying, and I don't think she realizes what it is that she runs or what it is that she doesn't run.
She's a weapon of mass destruction. She's an absolute weapon. I could say that. I'm sat over here. I don't even like the woman. I mean, she's just like the other fucking muppet that went. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't swear. The other moron that went before. That one there. Do you remember when they were in the talks, right? And they were trying to bring about the Good Friday Agreement where we got shafted, right?
Yeah.
Every time they didn't like what they were hearing, or they weren't getting their own way, they let a bomb off in England or somewhere like that. And there was John Hume at the time, which, right, not on my side, but there was John Hume and other people like still trying to keep this thing together. And the British Parliament were sucking up to them, and just about everybody else. And they lied all the way through it. They didn't want to disarm, right? They just moved the gateposts all the time, and that's all they were interested in, right? They're no different now. I mean, just because they've got a female there, how woke, right? At the end of the day, she lies just as much. And when Jerry Adams said, I'm not part of the IRA, I don't think he could have made a bigger lie. I mean, if he had one of those noses that had done that, he'd have poked the bloke's face out interviewing him. But it's the same with Martin McGuinness, another weapon who back then lied really heavily and was massively involved in the IRA and what it did. And when it said we've got no control over them, all right, mate, pull the other one. So, and for her to say we're burying our leader, or whatever you want to call it, a prolific murderer in his own right, well, that basically tells you the measure of the woman, doesn't it? And it also tells you that the trouble is always waiting and in the background. And if we don't get what we want, there is always the threat. But I can't understand the woman. I mean, they detest the Brits. Fine. That's their choice. But you want to leave Britain to go into a totalitarian state run by globalist people and banking and other organizations and people that are very nefarious and don't look after their own people. And you're all right with that. And incidentally, while you're still there, you're letting them dictate how many people come over into your country and flood it, who don't have the same way of thinking, who don't have the same opinions and have no love for Ireland. So, yeah, you're really doing your bit by the people, aren't you, woman? You're muted again, John.
Yeah. Sorry, I was actually looking for a little video clip, and I'll find it maybe the next time around. It's something that you haven't seen yet. But again, whenever we were here around the last Saturday of August, remember the video, the clip that we did outside the women's group? Well, I did actually cut it. Yeah. We did actually do a show about it. I have to say, if you just bear with me, I'm gonna talk as I go, and I want to really play this for you so that you can see it. You haven't seen it yet. Now, just bear with me. I'm looking for the specific clip here. Not many clips now, Simon. It just gets to the point whereby it is very, very hard to. Oh, here we go. We're going to find it now. Yes, so here we go, Simon. I want to play this so that you can, it'll give you some memories, let's just say.
Looking at it.
Yeah, what we're looking at in the background is we're looking at the site for a women's centre, a centre that is funded by the EU. Now, what this centre is for, what it is designed for, is that they're going to bring people from what is known as the Protestant Unionist Shankill Road, along with people from the Nationalist Republican Falls Road, and they're going to bring them together on this site. Now, to people, that sounds as if that's a good idea.
But the truth is, what we need to do is give them some context. Just a few feet up that way is the divide wall, where during the Troubles, the Catholics were over that side, the Protestants are over this side. That side's massively populated at the moment, all right, and it's also the love child, I should say, of the EU, all right, and they can do no wrong. This side, not so populated. This could have been built as houses, but at the moment it's been built, and John will tell you the rest.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like many sites around the Protestant Unionist Shankill Road area, there are various sites which is undeveloped. Now, on the Nationalist Republican side, I mean, every space is built upon, and there are people which is filling the houses, and there has been a project over the years, Simon, to depopulate this area. And what actually happens here, the Shankill Road is known as the heartland of Ulster. It has always been the hotbed of Protestantism, unionism, loyalism here in Northern Ireland.
The fight to stay part of the United Kingdom.
Absolutely.
Against the wishes of the army over the side there.
The Nationalists and Republicans, yeah. So what they've done over the years is that they've depopulated the Shankill Road to such an extent that many Protestants, Unionists, Loyalists have moved away from the Shankill Road, and to the point whereby that the voting system now favours those with the most votes in this area. This area is known as West Belfast, and what you will get is that at each time where there's an election, you get then that there's Nationalist and Republican MPs, councillors in charge really of this area.
And the purpose is because they want to basically turn Ireland into a united Ireland under a socialist-ish government, right? That's the dream they've been set, but it won't actually happen, because what they'll do is they'll go straight to the European Union, and God knows what happened then. The other thing to mention here is the women over that side they had a lot of skin in the game during the Troubles, right? They would come out, they would handle rifles, they would shift bombs around. Some of them, I mean, like Mairead Farrell, I believe it was, one of the IRA terrorists that got shot dead in Gibraltar. Not that she came necessarily from here, I'm not sure where she did come from, but she was very active, and many women were. And if you look in the prisons around Ireland during the 70s and the 80s, there were a lot more women from the Catholic side than there were from the Protestant side, because basically the men on the Protestant side said, we'll deal with this, you stay home. When you went over the other side, what they would do is they would come out, they would bang the drums, they would attack the soldiers, they would attack the armoured cars going around. They were a network, all right? They would also house and help prisoners who had escaped or anybody on the run. Brendan the Dark, right? Maybe not there, but in his own community, was shifted around by the women and looked after by the women. These women down here have not the foggiest about politics and are as naive as, say, for instance, the average 9-year-old in school, in a non-Catholic Protestant area school. Say, take for instance Great Britain. So when you say we're going to bring women in from a different part, from the Catholic part, they don't see any problem in that. Oh, right, we're going to make friends. But there is a reason, because if you take women who aren't political and then you take women who are extremely political pretending to be their friends, you're going to turn these women very quickly to being, oh, well, it's not a bad thing. But every inch, every like piece of concrete that you give away to this powers that be, I mean, whether you want to say it's the government over here or whether you want to say it's a bigger thing, and it's all part of a bigger picture, the more you do this, the more the battle's lost. And at the moment they're trying to give, I mean, Great Britain's trying to lose. Great Britain's been broken up. It's happening in Scotland, it's happening in Wales, and it's definitely happening here. And there's people like John here that are finding things like this out. This might not seem like a big deal to you, but generally speaking, it's a massive deal. Because what it'll do is it'll dilute the vote. It will dilute people's opinions till they become, take for instance, it's the equivalent of, say for instance, John, in this system at the moment.
Technicals. You're muted.
I'd have to stop it. So there you go. That was just a little snapshot of the things that we got involved in whenever we were here. And I did do that stream, but we sort of tailored it a wee bit. You and I would have been a wee bit more, I'm going to say, things maybe that we said we couldn't play on this screen, Simon. But
No.
yeah, but the sentiment is absolutely right. And the reason why I wanted to play that was actually just to say that, yeah, I mean, it's not just happening in England, Scotland, Wales. It's happening in Northern Ireland also, where there are people, misguided people, who think that these people, these newcomers, are their friends. The people that are funding them are their friends. But what they're doing is that they've effectively joined the other team to score goals against themselves whenever it is that they take the globalist money and become NGOs, is what they're becoming.
Well, did you notice the way she was, the hand signal and gestures? That's very globalist.
Yeah.
Her entire posture was that one of arrogance, and also I'm on the stage to be one of these leaders, one of you lot. I am, and there's all the symbolism and all the rest of it. And she is what she is. But Sinn Féin have never been straight with their own people. All right, they've never been straight with anybody else on a platform. All right, I mean, they weren't even straight when they tried to blag tickets to go over to America. Do you remember when Jerry Adams was banned from the place?
Yeah.
And then all part of this peace agreement, they blagged the president, who turned out to be a wrong and a globalist, right? They blag him to get him over there. Well, that's not enough then. They've got to get their other bloke that used to drum up funds and deal with the arms and stuff and get him over there. And, you know, he won't have anything to do with that anymore. No, we'll all be good people. Oh, yeah. What was he up to when he was over there? But that's another story. They've never been straight. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, all politicians are. We know they're not. The British state has not been straight with the people of Northern Ireland any more than it has with the people over in England, Wales and Scotland, but there it is. But you've still got to do everything you can to fight Sinn Féin getting any more power and people actually believing a word that comes out of their mouth. Because, as I say, the people under the areas where Sinn Féin was back in the day suffered. They were pushed. They were press gang. I mean, when they got all those people to stand down from trying to go for. Do you remember when that MP died around the time Bobby Sands was in lockup, right, and going on his hunger strike? Well, they went round and persuaded people not to stand. How do you think the IRA? I mean, sorry, Sinn Féin did that. It wasn't going to be good, but I can say that anyway. Everything about them is wrong, and I think people need to work that out for themselves. Because if you don't, they're not going to do Northern Ireland or Ireland itself any good. They're not now. I mean, their policies at the moment down there are doing Ireland no end of harm. You've been and seen, and you don't go down there now at the moment, right? But you have a lot of people down there that are telling you just what's going on.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that the population has risen hugely, and not by Irish people. I also know that rape is up, murder is up, drug dealing is up, prostitution is up. All of these things are up because they've kowtowed to the EU and the ideas of flooding it with immigration because they think that these people they're going to bring in are going to vote for them. Well done. Excellent.
Yeah. There was a man actually on the streets of Killarney just a few weeks ago, and I seen the clip. And I'm sorry, there was a lady walking through the street, and there was these newcomers, let's just say, and they were actually sexually harassing girls on the street, and people had to step in. Simon, who's the man on the corner here?
Right. What I did was I got your link, and the only way I could get your link, it's Alan, my mate, by the way, get your link from this phone to my computer was by sending it to Discord to put him on there. Okay. And he just clicked on it by mistake. But Alan's the one that helps me out with lots of stuff on Discord and all the rest of it. So, yeah.
Okay. So, look, there's a couple of things that I want to ask you, and this is for the purpose of the live chat. And really, we're talking about the new Prime Minister and his, let's just say his Chancellor. I was looking for another word there, but we need to keep things clean here. But
yes, we do.
Yeah, Jeremy, spelled with a C, not an H, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Without getting into it, over to you.
To be honest, I have stopped almost following the politics going on over here at the moment because, well, we'll have another leader in about 2 weeks, won't we? That's how it works over here at the moment. But no, our PM, when he in his last position was an abject failure. We now know that the guy that you're talking about was and will be an utter failure for the British people. But they're not serving us, are they? I mean, if we do keep it real, they don't serve us at all. They haven't served us for years. They've got an agenda. They've got an idea. I mean, they're all at the moment dressing up, aren't they, in Hawaiian shirts, meeting up to plan just how they're going to ruin us for the next year and 2 years, 5 years, 10 years ahead. They've got their agenda. They're using this green globalist I've got to be polite. Rubbish, and they're going to screw us to the floor through it. They'll probably try and hit us with another pandemic of some description, and in the meantime, now we're going to get fuel shortages, all orchestrated by the same group of people. Because I mean, it isn't just our Prime Minister and his underlings that are into it. It wouldn't be any different, I'll be honest, if Labour got in. Now, Labour like to say that it would be, but it wouldn't. But they all came out the same meat grinder, the Klaus Schwab school of thinking. And the Klaus Schwab school of thinking is this, that you'll have nothing and you'll be happy. So the thing is that Sinn Féin are all on board with that group of people. But what are they actually doing? Selling out Ireland's legacy? What are they doing? They're selling out the people of Ireland. And the people, by the time they realize if they were to let them go full steam ahead and give them the reins, by the time they worked it out for themselves, it would be too late. And it's not far off now. Yeah, but I mean, these people are going to steam ahead no matter what. Although I'm glad to see that in some ways globalism is taking a right smack in at the moment. You've seen how badly Jeff Bezos, his personal funds, as well as he's the only company I know, or it's the only company to lose $1 trillion. That's an unfathomable amount of money. But this is people that are fighting back. You'll see yourself that, say, for instance, Facebook, that's taken a massive spanking. And yet Twitter, when somebody goes in with who's an absolute meme artist and likes to take the mick and who actually wants an equal platform, even though stupid amount of lefties have left, more people are coming to the platform and it's actually building. Although they say it's going to go bankrupt, I don't believe it. But yeah, our put it this way, if our Prime Minister right now could hand over Northern Ireland, he'd do it. Because that's the sort of globalist shite he is. All right. The only people that want Northern Ireland to remain are anybody who's patriotic. It doesn't matter where you're from. Scotland, Ireland, Wales, England. If you're patriotic, there's no way you want to break it up the union. And you can see her in Scotland's doing her best to stir it up. That mug down in Ireland's doing his bit, her bit, their bit. They're all doing it together. Anyway, yeah, winds me up. And I can't understand why the people are just wandering around going, "Oh, it's bad, isn't it? What are we going to do?" In the old days, there'd be protests. I mean, do you remember when they took back? It was Home Rule when I think it was the 70s, when there was too much trouble going on in Ireland, so they took back rule back to Westminster, and the people, the loyalists there, came out in the streets, and rightly so, because it was handing a victory back to the provisional side, if you want. But you should still be able to come out in the street and say you're not happy. Just boils my this annoys me. I can't be clean. It's not used to this.
I think it's inevitable, Simon, that it's going to happen in the future. And I think people are sitting back and people are taking things as they come, and they're on the promise of a better tomorrow, when a better tomorrow, as you and I know, actually won't come. And, you know, and even in this past few days, I mean, I have seen that these people are becoming more and more, I'm going to say, out in the open. I mean, they just do not care what they do, how they do it. And back to Rishi and Mr. Hunt, I was nearly going to say the other one, but Mr. Hunt. But what, you know, when you think about Liz Truss, you know, tax cut, lower corporation tax, bring in investment, create jobs, have money, flourish throughout the economy. I mean, that's how economics works. And these people, well, they're going to raise taxes at a time when cost of living is high. And what they're doing is they're putting up the corporation tax, which doesn't make us competitive. And they're doing absolutely the wrong thing. But they're doing those things because of their global masters. Now, I tell you what I want to do is, go ahead, sorry.
No, I mean, they've been told to basically, they're going to handle the collapse of the economies of everybody within Europe, and even just Europe as well, because everybody gets on board with this globalist, zero carbon, and all the rest of it rubbish, will collapse. Now, it's been my belief for ages that we worked under an economy that was in interest, and then more interest, and then more interest, and the pound in your pocket was going to always be devaluated every time they pumped fake money into the system, and sooner or later had to collapse. And they worked this out. It's not just us; it's all over the world. The greed of globalism has put us into the state we're in. If these people weren't as greedy as they were, which is obviously laughable because they always have been, but if they weren't, then we would not be anywhere near the state we're in. But anyway, we are, and we're being driven by them. And what they have to do is handle our collapse of this empire, this economy, call it what you like, so they can shape the new one. And the new one will be, you won't own property, you won't own vehicles, you won't own hardly anything. And if you want to have any sort of existence, you will behave yourself, you will toe the line, because if you don't, we'll reduce your ability to spend money, we'll reduce your ability to work, we'll reduce your ability to go out and do anything. All right, they're starting to trial a cashless society in places just here and there and other places. But nevertheless, a cashless society has you and me over a barrel, because they can seize any means of us being able to spend money. And the moment you can't spend money, you're knackered. But not just that. While they're collapsing our economy, people are going to be taking their savings and topping up their day-to-day life until the savings have gone. And then they're going to make sure that we can't drive our vehicles here, there, or anywhere, right, unless we're massively taxed and we've got to pay. I mean, you've only got to go into Bristol before long and you'll be paying extra to go into there, like you do with London. It's ridiculous. But what I found interesting is everybody's got to go to electric. It's the new way forward. And they've got everybody interested in these electric cars. And then obviously we then get that power problem. So you've got to pay a lot more to charge them up. But have you seen now they're going to bring in taxes for them, because they've got to plug the shortfall where people have gone over to electric vehicles and didn't pay the tax that you had to with a petrol or a diesel. So they're going to get spanked, just like we predicted. And it's getting boring predicting exactly what they're going to do, and they do it next, because you went from being a conspiracy theorist to somebody some people just don't like you because they don't like being wrong. You're pointing out that they're wrong. It was a bit like this other thing. The medical interventions, which I won't go into great detail, but there's a lot of people that were all willing that if you didn't participate in this, they weren't to ruin your life. And now they're saying, well, maybe we had it wrong. We should all forget about it. No, I'm sorry. I've lost thousands over this by put my neck on the block. And these people who are the ones that bully on behalf of the system will bully you to get rid of your car. They'll bully you to grass on your neighbor if he's not doing whatever the latest thing is. I wonder if were these same bullies the sort of people that used to go out on behalf of, say, for instance, the provisionals and go and grass on people who were not going along with the way. I mean, down in the south, when I went down there, I couldn't believe how utterly brainwashed they were. And they were utterly in love with people like, because it was that long ago, it was Obama. And they thought he was an absolute wonderful man. And they thought Hillary Clinton was going to be the next demigod, whatever you want to call it. They're utterly brainwashed. And I couldn't believe it, because I'm like, are you serious? Do you know the death toll that follows these people around? And how is it when they come to power, they've got X amount of money, and then by the time they leave power, they're massively wealthy? How does that work? You don't get it on the wages, so how does that happen? And it's like our leaders. Our leaders over in, say, for instance, Great Britain, Tony Blair, for instance, another globalist, and he's pushing all the same shite that they are, right? He came into power with some money. But when he left, he was like 150 million. How did that work? You know what I mean? Apart from waging a illegal war, weapons of mass destruction that turned out never to be. And then we've got one going on at the moment over in Ukraine. And because of that alleged whatever's going on over there, right, we've all got to have extra gas prices. We've got to worry about, are we going to have the lights turned off? And they're going to blame everything on it. Shortages of all kinds. Cool, look over there. Yeah. Pull the other one. It's got bells on it. So, yeah, kind of frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, there's one little clip that I want to play here, and you've probably seen this here. And I'm just going to share my screen for it. But they call this one Tri-Gender. I want you probably listened to it already, and I just want you to give me your thoughts on this. Now, bear with me for a second. Yeah, here we go.
A couple of people might have been surprised by my transgender pin that I put on this morning. I figured it's about time that I came out and talked about my gender identity. I am trigender, which means like a triangle, I have 3 genders: male, female, and non-binary. And the difference between trigender and gender fluid is that I feel all 3 of these genders at the same time. All the time. It doesn't ever shift or change, or I feel one gender more strongly than the other, like gender fluid tends to be. Also, I should recognize and accept that a lot of people don't see non-binary as a 3rd gender. They see it as something completely separate from the binary of male and female. But for me, it's like a 3rd gender. Or I guess you could call it a 3rd identity. So how I feel gender-wise is like a man, like a woman, and as neither at the same time.
I worry about what I'm going to say, so I've got to really, really tone it down.
Yeah.
What we've got there is somebody who's so utterly, utterly boring that they've used this to get attention with. They have no redeeming features, no great skills, certainly weren't very good at sport, right? Didn't have a great personality, had nothing going for them. And then all of a sudden the Marxists came along and said, you can be an annoying twat and get as much attention as possible if you say, I'm a air-rated, fluffy, left-wing spanner that came out of full footy on Elouette and Barlin and light bulb picking licking college, waving a commie flag. Off you go. You're special now. And that thing ran with it. That's about, yeah, it's talking utter shit, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, you don't get to pick your sex. Sorry, I don't go shopping today. John, I'm gonna have some steak. I need some carrots and peas, and I'll be a bird today. No, you don't get a choice. I'm afraid the good Lord himself decided what we were going to be long before you decided to put politics into it. And here's the interesting thing. When the system gets much worse, as it will, and the system no longer needs these, what we're going to call them, camels, right, to load up and push their propaganda along with, right, they'll drop them like a hotcake, and the suicide rate will go absolutely through the roof because nobody will give a flying fig about them.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know, I kind of feel a pity for what I just seen there, and I do for the reason in that, I mean, you can't excel in school if you're white, if you're a white male, if you're steel, male, and pale, and we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
You really don't fit in. But then you have people coming along and thinking, well, I mean, that's the popular way to be, and this is the way they are. And then what they do, and it's like in every single world, and I'll talk about, say, for example, the art world. What used to pass for art used to be a nice painting, and then it ended up with Tate Modern, where it was a racked room with beer cans and Chinese lying around. That was art. And what happens is that I just think that in the drive to become the next best thing, they just really cross the line. And that, to me, this triangle of a thing is completely and utterly crossed the line in a way that I've never, ever seen that line being crossed before, Simon.
It started with Pride, didn't it, right?
Yeah.
Now, Pride came out because there was times in the past where men would go around bashing gays. Wrong, but that's what they did, and I don't agree in it. So what they ended up doing was coming out in force and marching and saying, we're here, we're queer, what are you going to do about it? Fine, you're gay, that's it. I mean, that's just the way it is. I haven't got a problem. I was best man at a gay wedding, right? However, I can't understand that thinking, all right? However, if they were to come out dressed conservatively and say, I'm gay, I'd be like, well, fair enough, your choice, that's it. But when they come out with all these sexual objects nailed to them, and they dress that as BDSM, and they're trying to flip their ass right in the face of some young child, what you actually are is a sexual predator. You are a degenerate, you are a wrong'un, and we can all see you for what you are. Unfortunately, there's too many left-wing or middle-of-the-road gutless so-and-sos that won't have the balls, pardon the pun, to come out and say anything. However, the rest of us have noticed what you've done. And if you came up to me in the street, I'd tell you exactly what I thought, because I'm not afraid like the rest of them. However, they're wrong. But this is all part of this Marxist idea. What they wanted to do was collapse our society, take away the church, take away decency, take away all of the historical things that made us British. And yes, the English, the Irish, the Northern Irish, the Scottish, the Welsh, everybody has a culture, whether you like it or not. All right. Doesn't matter what part of the country or the world you go to, there is a culture. I mean, there's a difference in the counties, right? Between what, say, for instance, what county, say, for instance, Cornwall's different to Devon, and Devon's different to Somerset. There's little bits, but we all have our own individual identity, right? And what they're trying to do is get rid of that and bland it out, and then flood the place with people who don't look like you, don't act like you, and don't care for you, right? And what they want to do is, while they're doing that, they want to get us all fighting, because they want to have gays against straights, blacks against whites, Asians against blacks and whites, and all the rest of it. Go back around in circles a bit more here, right? And then they want to get left against right, and that's one of the biggest problems we've got at the moment. What it seems is the far left, and those would be people who are like a lot of them down in the south, and some of them, say, for instance, we've driven around there where they've got the tricolour and they've got some other flipping flags, and you're like, you're as woke as you like. Now, a few years ago, go back about 20 years ago, you couldn't have imagined those communities being like that. But whatever it is that the enemy hates, will do. And that's what they do. And they're pushing their socialist or Marxist or bullshit, whatever it is, idea. But what they're actually doing is the thing that they've been fighting for so long, they're destroying just to get to you. And that's the facts of it. They hate the enemy so much that they'll set themselves in flames as long as you go in flames with them. It's amazing.
And back to where we started this stream this evening was Marylou McDonald and the Sinn Féin project. And what they are doing is that they are welcoming all and sundry, uncontrolled, uncontrollable, unquantifiable, unidentifiable.
They're not even, these people that are coming in are not even coming from a war-torn country. No. Half of them are coming from a place that's trying to claim at the moment to get into the European Union. And what are they doing? I mean, they're overtaking the criminals that we've got here for the drugs industry and the prostitution.
Yeah, 100%. That's the way it goes. So, Simon, you were around from the start, and I want to get your thoughts on this, and we'll just play a wee bit of it. But I want to let you hear Marylou McDonald again on her.
You torturing me. You are, right?
I am, because we know that we're going to get a reaction, you see. So here we go.
Whatever George Hamilton's view is on that matter, I want to tell you that I am the leader of Sinn Féin.
These people that George Hamilton says are still out there, still wielding influence. What's your relationship with them?
I have no relationship with the IRA.
Okay, so if you've got no relationship with the IRA, how come you're burying your leader?
I've never been a member
Straight
of
away,
the IRA.
you're burying
I'm a
your
Sinn Féin
leader.
person,
He's your
and I am
leader.
the leader of Sinn Féin.
And nobody dictates the pace to me.
Except the IRA.
Do you like that wee touch?
And nobody dictates the pace to me.
We're here, we're broken-hearted,
patronising liar.
a farewell to our leader.
Your leader. The IRA, your leader. Well, actually, go back to when, when, say, for instance, when they were trying to bring about the peace agreement back in the 90s, right? And Jerry Adams and Martin McGuinness, and there was a couple of others, Jerry Kelly, I believe, and I can't remember what the other one was. You had him on earlier on. He was the one that went, yeah, when Bobby Sands got in, that mush, right? Anyway, the first thing they did when they walked in, they had their tricolour flag and Bobby Sands. Now, what was Bobby Sands? He was an IRA. He was locked up for being a terrorist, right? So when you hold him and you're going into peace talks with a terrorist, and I mean, I know they were all terrorists anyway in their own right, and I'll say that. But apparently you can be in trouble for accusing Gerard Adams of ever being a terrorist. But hey, I got nothing. Well done. So you can have all of that if you like. But no, yeah, at the end of the day, only the blind are fooled. And here's the thing. Do your own research with history, because one side will say this, the other side will say that. I mean, the report I was watching for about 6 hours had its own tinge because it was the BBC doing it. So, but if you take all sides, you'll see a thread through the middle. And you'll see who the bad guys are. And the bad guys at the moment are down in the south saying, nobody pulls my strings.
Yeah. And like all times whenever you and I get together, Simon, that we're going to state quite clearly is that, you know, there are ordinary decent nationalists, ordinary decent Catholics. There's lots of people who are our friends in the south. We've got a lot of people down there that we know and talk to, and they tell us what's going on in the south. And here's the thing. It is the extremists that is keeping this country apart, that has been terrorizing this country, and the Marylou McDonalds of this world and her conglomerate, that, well, if it wasn't for that, well, I think that we would have been reconciled in terms of the people a very, very long time ago. And, well, we all could have got on together. And there is a solution, Simon. We're talking to Ben Habib, a man that's involved in the Supreme Court case in 2 weeks' time with myself and Clifford and co. And, you know, as you know, we're talking to him about, really, he had said to us that there is a solution for Northern Ireland, and the solution for Northern Ireland is to make Northern Ireland a free port in where that they even zero rate the corporation tax, which will bring in lots of investment. And, well, it would flourish this place, and it would soon take people's minds off the orange and green if things were flourishing in a way that, well, that Ireland wasn't allowed to own it. And even I'm going to say, you know, and Britain wasn't allowed to own it, whereby that we are Northern Ireland, we're together. The people that are British, well, they still align to be British, and the people that want to be Irish, well, so be it. That's what they be. And when there's money in people's pockets, well, things actually work, Simon. So that they,
Northern Ireland struggled for years with financial reasons because lack of investment. I watched all the documentaries all the way through the 60s and 70s. You'd see the housing. And then when there was investment, obviously the Troubles didn't help these things. But I do believe that, I mean, if you could get a head start and get that sort of thing going in it and bring a lot more money into Northern Ireland, great. Even if we can't do it, that doesn't bother me at all. You've had it rough for as many years as I can think back on. So it'd be nice to give you a bit of a,
it could be used. The free port could be used to put British goods out through, and vice versa, probably goods even from the Irish Republic. And what's happening right now with Rishi and Mr. Hunt, is what it should have said. Mr. Hunt. And what's happening now is that they're upping the corporation tax, and then what they do is they put us on an even keel an uneven keel with the South, who's, you know, putting us away up to 25% versus their 12%, I think it is, which makes us uncompetitive. But anyway, all of that said, we're not going to solve the problems because of globalization. They will never, ever, ever allow us to have that, which I think would be the solution to the problem. So back to 2 weeks' time, Simon, we are in the Supreme Court in London. We arrive in 2 weeks from now, 2 Wednesdays, where we're coming on the Tuesday. We're staying to the Friday, so no doubt we'll tie up over that time frame. So I'm going to ask, could maybe you give me a wee slot on your YouTube channel to ask for as many people to come along if they can, if they're off, to show a wee bit of support for keeping the United Kingdom together, and because together we are actually strong. So I'm going to be straight about it, is that, you know, we're sitting here with the legal papers. I read the government's argument, or the government's defense against our arguments. Now, our arguments are solid in terms of the legalities of them. I mean, we were separated from the rest of the United Kingdom. We did not receive democracy in the same way as the United Kingdom. We are subjected to EU laws by which that we have absolutely no say over. It's like, and you know, that's wrong. You cannot do that. I mean, you have to be able to change the people that are making the rules and regulations and so on. There's so many laws that it's breaking. The Act of the Union has been broken in terms of Article 6 of the Act of the Union is completely triced. To provide for the EU to be like joint authority over the people of Northern Ireland. And then the Belfast Agreement, that's the principle of consent contained within the Belfast Agreement. Well, nobody voted for this, and it's been imposed over our heads, but yet they say that this internationally recognised agreement, the Belfast Agreement, it cannot be broke, it cannot be tinkered with, and yet they've tinkered with it. So we're winning hands down on the legal arguments, but we believe that the decision will be political. That's how I see it. But look, there's going to be another case should that not proceed in the way that we actually wanted to proceed. And again, I'm saying to people here, I'm saying to people here for a reason. Bear with me. I popped something up there, so I did. Anyway, if you can support our work, if you could pop a wee bit of money into the PayPal link there, what it does is it allows for us to it allows for us to really take people there, to get banners, posters, and look up to this point in time. There's myself and my school friend who is the plaintiff in the case, or the appellant, as they say, and we'll be there, and we'll be there for over a 4-day period, and we'll be reporting directly from the Supreme Court. So anybody that would like to help our work, please do, if you can. So you're broadcasting this Saturday night. Would you just like to tell people, Simon, what's your channel? What is it that you do on a Saturday?
I just come on a Saturday night, and we did it in the early part of the lockdown. We called it the pub stream because you couldn't make it to the pub. But we get people to ring in and tell us what they're thinking. We talk through a few stories, and I rant. So yeah, I do swear a bit as well. But other than that, people have a few drinks, and we generally have a laugh and try and cheer people up. So, but we'll talk about politics at the same time. So starts at 8 p.m. and goes on till I run out of steam. Simple.
Yeah. And it's the Reverend Simon Sideways is the channel. Yeah,
it is. I keep forgetting that actually I'm not very good at promoting myself. You might have noticed, but yeah, I'm all right at doing other people, promoting them. But yeah, Reverend Simon Sideways. I'm out. I got that YouTube channel. I've got Rev on a Rant. It goes out on Facebook, and we're planning to go on a few other platforms as well this weekend. So we'll see how that goes.
That's good, man. Well, listen, Simon, thanks very much for coming along. Are you working tomorrow? Are you?
Oh no. Yes, we're off for a few. I've taken 5 days off for once. I'm only doing stuff here. I've got to learn this new stuff and learn how to do editing and other things. So yeah. I'm just chilling out.
The setup's looking fine. I mean, I cast my eye on it, and I have to say it's looking really, really good. So it is.
Try and give you a bit of a look there. No, that's not it. There you go. So that's it. But yeah, it's getting there, but it needs a lot doing. So
yeah. Well, as I say, you're certainly getting there. Simon, one more wee clip, and then we'll play us out with a little song on finishing. But again, I just want your thoughts on this, and you've seen it before.
In this constituency, I remember her standing up and saying steal, meal, peel, and that's what this constituency has had since 1998.
Yeah, the hate for the white working man. God, love it. Yeah, yeah, half of her constituency. Brilliant. Yeah, wonderful woman. But you're allowed to be prejudiced against people like you and me because we're way down the pecking order. If she said something derogatory to, say, for instance, somebody who was Muslim or Sikh or a Chinese person or a black person, she would now be absolutely screwed. But everybody's like, yeah, because being prejudiced against festering old white gits like us is great, isn't it? There you go.
Definitely. And something I'm going to suggest to you before that we go is that if you go to YouTube and you search for Stanley Johnston on GB News, that's Boris Johnson's dad. I don't know why you've seen that clip or not.
Oh, he's the one for reduced population through.
Yeah, yeah. Well, here, listen, they're now not hiding that, and I think to the people on the stream, we're gonna do a section on that. And
Prince
I have
Philip
to
said
say,
it. They've all said it. They've come out and said it. They want to reduce the population, but the thing is, right? They're telling us in Europe, right? The originals, if you want to call it that way, that we're to reduce population. Think about global warming. Think about our impact on the climate and everything else, right? And yet they're telling all the people that come over here from these far off countries to breed like hell.
Yeah.
Which one is it? Because why is it one rule for them and one rule for us? What are you trying to do here? You know. And the truth is, they want to change the demographic. Why?
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, but I mean, watch that Stanley Johnston, and he admits quite a lot of things. He says that I think we need 400 billion or whatever for this climate change, and it doesn't seem to be a problem to the markets, that sort of money, or the sort of money that they're handing out in
Because it's
Ukraine
coming from you.
Yeah,
it's coming from you and me.
100%.
They'll just say how much they want, and it comes from the taxpayer. All of these weapons and stuff they're sending to Ukraine. Ukraine's saying, I want food or I need this. Well, you can have some more weapons and have some more weapons, because at the end of the day, the globalists have all their shares in the armaments company. I mean, I've said it before. When you looked at, say, for instance, Theresa May, her other half had shares in a company that made missiles that were going to resupply when they wanted to go and attack Assad, which is why she was pushing for that. It can't be right. You can't have that sort of interest, because it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah, definitely a conflict of interest, and a very dangerous conflict of interest to have. So, Simon, thanks very much for coming along. Thanks to the live chat for actually sticking with us. I hope that you got a lot out of the Marylou McDonald quotes, and where that she's diametrically opposed to herself, to her own thinking, and she actually told us that she's she's in the Sinn Féin. I can't say anything else.
She's Ireland's Diane Abbott.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have to say Sinn Féin, because I'd end up in libel courts, is the truth of the matter, the way that they're working nowadays. So, playing this out, Simon. So, Simon, again, would you just like to say your good nights to the live chat and anything else you have to say? And I'll play us out with something really, something's going to put a smile on everyone's face.
Yeah, basically, thanks a lot for having me. It's been a pleasure. Come subscribe to me, Reverend Simon Sideways. See you in a bit.
Yeah. Good man. So I'm just going to look for a little video file here that so that we can play. Now, bear with me for a second. I wasn't intending to do this. I'm normally a wee bit more up to speed, let's just say, with the things. But here we go.
At least your stream hasn't crashed. Mine did twice last week.
Well, there you go. Had to change computers. The other one was on overload, so it was. And well, you know how it goes. It's all the abuse that we give them with all these video files. That's how it works. So I'm looking for, where is it? Here we go. I'm going to put this up. So good night, everyone. Thanks very much for coming along. Playing is out with the Mourne Young Defenders at a rally for the Union on the 6th of December in 2019. And I have to say, this showcases the best of Northern Ireland in terms of the marching band fraternity. And I would encourage you, Simon, to watch this. This is a real good clip. So I'll pop it up. We'll zoom it forward a wee bit there, because there's a wee bit at the start that I haven't cut off this one. And enjoy, everyone. And thanks very much for coming along. And don't forget, if you can help our work for the up-and-coming Supreme Court case, please look in the live chat there. There's a PayPal link. Pop a few pounds into it. And, well, as you know, we won't back down, as in the words of the song. Thanks very much for coming along.
Program here tonight with Blood and Thunder. I want to see these 80s, the last
Just taking it forward.
year the night round.
So that we can get
Well,
forward.
I'm going to tell you,
I'll have to
this
get the
meal's here tonight. One way.
Beautiful. Have to get the cut version on this new computer. No, sincerely, people, listen to this for a melody band from Kilkeel in Northern Ireland, Mourne Young Defenders, and I have to say, this really showcases the best of the marching band fraternity. So enjoy, everyone.